Mhm. 2 ounces. Got one for 357 and another for 429. I was thinking about the thyme. So there was where did I read it? Probably in a poetry, probably in one of these weird poetry books. It the it said, was it the Greeks? No, it's in that novel I'm reading very slowly, Lore by Alexander Bracken. In Lore, well, it's totally set from a Greek polytheistic uh, mystery cult type of stuff. Because it has Greek gods in it, and when they're getting ready to battle, there was a line in there that said they had tea. It was like thyme with honey, lemon, and ginger that somebody used that they drank before battle to add courage. I was thinking about that. Thyme, I wouldn't really recognize the taste. There's rosemary, mint. What are other herbs? What are the other herbs? Thyme, 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 right. One thing about the past, um, since finding myself exiled, they changed values. The war was caused over something. Mm. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Fire, retire, tire, mire, liar. Do we really need time? I've experienced this with people that I interacted with and had very wonderful times with. Pleasant. And that was, oh my goodness, this is so good. Why don't we have it in so and so place? They need to import and export. That kept us going for a while around the world. Well, when I was over in the battle zone, and we had shops. We had shops, chop shops. I started mumbling a lot. The letters, the letters. I have somewhere in my home library a book that was, which many might consider cringe. However, it's interesting. It shows examples of letters, how they used to be drawn, and how they evolved. Hmm. Animal speak. I have a book over there called Animal Speak. I have another one. It's complete biblical library. Now I'm having chatter, so I can't have it. I don't know if anybody tell my audio is coming in. This is probably there was a thing at the library presentation. I don't know. They have them on a lot of Saturdays. I had the most interesting conversation last night. I was walking down the street after leaving my oh, they allow me in there, so let me look it up. There's a I wonder if anybody ever turned it into a anything. Um, oh, they did turn it into a TV show. Oh, this is recent. This is real recent. Somebody had asked me to make a movie out of it, and I was like, I don't know. Bob Mayer, Area 51, Earth Abides. Is that the same book? I don't remember Area 51 being on there. Earth Abides book. Let's see what oh, George Stewart. Earth Abides, Easton Press, sci-fi. Earth Abides. Oh, 230 issues though. I found it. I picked it out of my elementary school library. Will they have reviews on it though? Sons and daughters books. Earth abides. There's not. It doesn't seem to be. It has that one. Is it interesting? Amazon doesn't have it listed. Probably listed. Just the search engines bringing up in different order. eBay, eBay. What would actually? What's the price? What's the price? What's the price? eBay, original bookstore. The reason why I like Amazon is because it has reviews. People will tell little synopsises, stuff like that. Oh, Alibreeze. That was like a rival. I think was Alibreeze. Yes, Alibreeze. Was that? Hmm. So interesting. Mm-hmm. We'll check out Earth Abides eBay books, like eBay. Let's check that out. Do they have a reference? Oh, look at checking your browser before you actually eBay. Oh my goodness. Why is he looking at this book? Top rated. Okay, I wanted what's it about. I suppose if I'm looking at it, I see the original listing. Okay, well, I suppose somebody on eBay looking for stuff probably knows what it is. Earth device, Earth device, Earth device. Hmm. That follows Ursher Ishwig's emergence finally claim mysterious plague has wiped out most of humanity. They did it working with a fellow survivor in cerebral society. Okay, adapted from George R. Stewart's acclaimed novel. Hmm. The series blends survival drama with human resilience, featured Alexander Ludwig and Jessica Francis Dukes. Viewers praised for its faithful tone and atmospheric storytelling. Well, it's been standard apocalyptic. Uh, Earth Abides is a 1949 American post-apocalyptic science fiction novel. It takes place. It's in America in the U.S. though, from if I remember reading it right. Does it state the part one world without it? While working on his graduate thesis in geography at the Sierra Nevada, Ish is bitten by a rattlesnake. As he heals from the bite in the cabin, he gets sick with a disease similar to measles. He lapses in and out of consciousness. He eventually recovers and makes his way back to civilization, only to discover that it has collapsed after most people have died from the same disease. He decides to go to his home in Berkeley, California, the city near his home. Okay. Oh, so it's set in California. That makes it even more curious. So just took a quick look to see if I could find. I think it's a 2021 release called After the Virus. The Virus. it's picked up at Goodwill, and it's by an author named Scott Huber. It's written diary form. So he describes like the beginning, like just some plague disease. I think he has a family, and they're just bleeding and stuff, and it's one of those really diseases, and people are just dying. And well, he takes off. He takes off to the woods. He's a survivalist. He has skills, and so he's relating how he's like just people have gone mad. You know, the grocery stores. If you found out, I just what was it? How many? I said a fast food restaurant chain franchises. They're shutting down hundreds of fast food places. Hundreds. Well, well, when I opened my email, there's just so much. One of my coworkers, he actually he was in for a while, tech for a while. Probably still is. I mean, our job how we're I placed in our IT category. He said he used to work in marketing, like how to do how to do the spam, send lots of emails out, and get addresses and those type of stuff. So I have you ever tried to do the unsubscribe and you're unsubscribed, like unsubscribe from this thing and you complete it, it's like, oh, I'm gonna get less stuff now. And then I get like start getting like more emails. Like every time I unsubscribe from the newsletter, get like more. And again, I didn't do that concerted an effort on it. I spent I don't know how long it took me. One day I deleted like 1,000 unread emails because they're just from people like spam things, what the Attorney General of California is doing, different Congress people, the politician class. Ooh, the jungle. There's empathy. Can, this type of stuff is it worth it to have empathy? This is a Signet classic, Upton Sinclair, The Jungle. Is it, do I not have the publication page? Signet, yeah. Afterwards, copyright 1905, 1906 by Upton Sinclair. Afterward, 1960. So this book was 1960, but it was written in 1905. Upton Sinclair was born of a prominent but impoverished family in Baltimore, Maryland, on September 20, 1878. At the age of 15, he began writing dime novels in order to pay his way through the College of the City of New York. While doing graduate work at Columbia University, he wrote six novels, including King Midas, the 1901, the Journal of Arthur Sterling, 1903, and Manassas, 1904. In 1906, he published The Jungle, the first indication of his conversion to socialism. This realistic study of inhuman conditions in the Chicago stockyards aided in the passage of the Pure Food Laws, in one Sinclair wide literary recognition. Pure food, how bad was it? He invested the money he made from its sale in the utopian experiment, in a utopian experiment, the Helicon Hall colony at Englewood, New Jersey. In 1915, he moved to California, where he later conducted 4 unsuccessful campaigns for public office. Between 1917 and 1927, he wrote a series of pamphlets on various aspects of American life. The Prophets of Religion, 1918, The Brass Check, 1919, A Study of Journalism, The Goose Step, 1923, and The Goslings, 1924, dealing with education. Memonarch, 1925, and Money Rights, 1927. In 1934, he united large sections of the unemployed and progressive elements in an epic, and parentheses, End Poverty in California League, which captured the Democratic Party machinery and nearly won him the governorship of California. Later books include World's End, 1940, Dragon's Teeth, 1942, for which he was awarded a Pulitzer Prize. Oh, Shepherd Speak, 1949, and Another Pamela, 1950. And the back cover of it says, Upton Sinclair, The Jungle. In some of the most harrowing scenes ever written in modern literature, Upton Sinclair vividly depicts factory life in Chicago in the first years of the 20th century. The horrors of the slaughterhouses, their barbarous working conditions, the crushing poverty, the disease, the depravity, the despair. He reveals all through the eyes of Jurgis Rodriguez, a young immigrant who has come to the New World to build a home for himself, his fiancée, and her family. Published in 1906, The Jungle aroused the indignation of the public and forced a government investigation which led to the passage of the Pure Food Laws. It was also established this young author as a fearless crusader for the rights of the working man, one of the world's leading spokesmen for freedom, equality, and humanity. This chapter 12 is 12. For 3 weeks after his injury, Jurgis never got up from bed. It was a very obstinate sprain. The swelling would not go down, and the pain still continued. At the end of that time, however, he could contain himself no longer, and began trying to walk a little every day, laboring to persuade himself that he was better. No arguments could stop him, and 3 or 4 days later he declared that he was going back to work. He went to the cars and got to Brown's, where he found that the boss had kept his place. That is, was willing to turn out into the snow the poor devil he had hired in the meantime. Every now and then the pain would force Jurgis to stop work, but he stuck it out till nearly an hour before closing. Then he was forced to acknowledge that he could not go on without fainting. It almost broke his heart to do it. He stood leaning against a pillar, weeping like a child. 2 of the men had to help him to the car, and when he got out, he had to sit down and wait in the snow till someone came along. I haven't, growing up, well, not growing up, because I didn't grow up there. I have just tiny recollections, because I was happy. I was the youngest. And I had lots of cousins, lots of older cousins. And my aunt, her daughter would babysit us, just a big family, and a house. And later on, talking to my cousin, it was shit. I wasn't there when my aunt, because I don't remember. Uh, we had our uncle, like three aunts, my dad, mom, a lot of people work in the tire shop. Oh, so my dad, after my brothers were born, he decided to relocate to California where he could be closer to his family. Like he was isolated alone out in Salt Lake City, and he had a real hard time finding employment. So he started his own he found little entrepreneur things to do, and then we drove then we went to California. Very emotional. I didn't want to leave my cousins and things. My cousins, I really didn't have concept of things much. Uh, I had toys, a few toys. The toys I did play with my cousins, and they had army figures and things like that. So, well, I found out talking to my cousin that her mom, well, she had lost that house. It went for the plumbing stopped work. They had their plumbing turned off, so they didn't have running water in the house. Oh, bills after bills. I don't even know what's going on with my electricity. I almost got my water shut off. She stopped delivering mail here. So I have power company, and I got a automated call the other day. I thought they were gonna say, you're gonna pay your bill by your no, no. I checked on the portal that I pay my rent on, and the landlord put it in his name, so I don't know what he's doing. Well, I've run into a situation where the realtors have sold all there is the sale, and now they're just giving people like down payments, $2,500, and oh, you violated your lease, oh, your neighbors are crazy, so that way they can like keep renting. That way they have like high turnover, and they can sell it. Young people buying their first home, and they get there, and like the poor devil on this thing, he thought he had a new job. So reading these things, I've been fascinated, and many of the fascinating conversations that I've had with people who, well, we can't, we're not allowed to sit down and just talk about things. There's some horrible tension related things. I think it's inside the family. About 2001, last Christmas that I had a family around for, or was it more Thanksgiving? We had a very small Thanksgiving, and well, with the married couples, do they go to? Some people in those situations have several invites, and I mean, I noticed my cousin's wife wasn't there. Uh, and another cousin seemed to have changed. He looked very similar. I just don't know. And well, my favorite, we used to be really close. And my single mother cousin, who probably the closest with at one point. She has three kids, and that she had a falling out with her aunt, the one that I used to as a little kid stay at their house. And oh, I think his sons, he has two sons, and they're in a band. They're a very musical family, I think. I know such as at our family parties, different people would they'd play guitars, they'd sing. Christmas when I was a little kid, we had talent shows. So if I take this book and I put it over there with Earth Abides, the sickness in the factories. Well, Chicago stockyards. You know what a stock exchange is? Hmm. Peace and prosperity. Peace leads to prosperity. It leads to abundance. It leads to war. I suppose these walkers, they're looking for the owner of the factory. I bought stocks. I bought like electronic stocks. So electronically, I I own parts of shares and ownership of the slaughterhouses. Is to keep the meat coming. I was on keto for the keto was a low carb thing, very similar to Atkins. They explained not Atkins. Atkins, it was you have like you calculate your calories and break down carbs and everything. They didn't with apps. They didn't really have that when Atkins was promoting his uh, get rich quick diet, or do you actually find long term benefits from eating like only meat? And so there was a I didn't know what marbling was. So they have a back in the day, back in well the slaughterhouses, portraying the factories, the cowboy days. I hear that the steers they were very muscular, like they would because they had these herds of cattle and they drive them around and raise them and take them to places like that. Like or they look for I guess butchers. I don't know. All I understand is that they were very lean and tough, and so that like fine dining was considered marbling. They actually after slaughtering the cow or steer or whatever you want to call it, the food animal that I associate with my American hamburgers, they would they leave it out to rot. They leave it out to rot apparently, and then however they learned the good time to mash it up and then fry it because the decomposition made it tender. Otherwise, it was just really tough to eat. And that's cooking. I had this whole thing with well, in our family to well, when people come up and talk to me about karma, and there was a big thing when Stephen Colbert was on a PBS program where he's tracing people's roots, and they did background like they traced Stephen Colbert into a family like Irish people, and they're real interested in like the slave ships, like over on the East Coast, when the New York area and things, they have they all registrars of the cargo lists of when ships would come into port, offload their cargo. I wonder what they took back with them. Oh yeah, tobacco. It's really not for sailors, for people who run boats. It's not really efficient to only take stuff in one direction. So this is when I got at the library. Masterpiece, The Forsytes. The Forsytes chronicles trials and triumphs of a wealthy Victorian stockbroking family whose generations find themselves torn between tradition and the personal pursuit of happiness. Oh, is it already premiered? Doesn't say. Oh, that must be why they had a presentation. So it's. Oh, it did premiere that month. Wait, did I watch it? Sorry. This is just there's a Downton Abbey-esque thing going on. We're watching these people, and they're very genteel, and there's not yelling in their houses. There's not fighting. Uh, they're very genteel and rural. Oh, what a nice hat! And their family, well, their family, I guess their family makes money from this. Isn't when your favorite singer musician is really Morrissey has a song that meat is murder. Well, I don't know. The animals seem to be like just oh. It's a rose I purchased. I was reading Robert Frost poetry. I suppose maybe one has to be a certain age and the Earth divides. This, for whatever reason, walking around in an empty city in quiet. Was it the first year or so of COVID? They were talking about something that was observed that was a beneficial thing, that the cities were quiet, that the cities were quiet. I ended up in and by modern standards, a very small city, like a very rural. Like people from big cities would consider it rural, I suppose. And it was so quiet. There were deer that would be grazing in yards. Then over the years, more people have come. Well, now that the COVID thing is over, cities are back to their bustling, hustle and bustle self. Except all those emergency loans that were dumped, that were given to people. Well, it's really eye opening to find out how many people were living off of credit. I think the building that I'm in is in some week with some like battle. I can probably win a foreclosure again. There are people in real estate who know how to like look for foreclosure listings online. Uh, Back in the day, you'd go to the offices and go to paper. I don't know how to do that. I have this though. I have the California Real Estate Principles, sixth edition, Prentice Hall series in California real estate. Now, these are the author's credentials. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of these things. So these are the other books from the series. Should you rent 14.5? Should you rent or buy? Keep in mind that the advantages of renting will closely parallel the disadvantages of buying, and the disadvantages in renting will closely relate to the advantages of buying. Wait, advantage of renting will because the disadvantage of buying. Oh, I suppose rent or something. Advantages of renting and disadvantages of buying. One, only comparatively small outlay of money is required to rent, usually the first and last month's rent and security deposit. When you purchase, you are usually required to pay a sizable down payment of 5% to 20% of the purchase price as well as closing costs. When you purchase. Oh, okay. So you can get in a place by renting with far less money than buying. Payment of 5% to 20% of the purchase price. So if this house was $300,000 and I wanted to buy it, I would put a down payment of like $15,000 to $60,000. There is less risk in renting because your initial outlay is limited. You don't stand to lose much, even if you decide to move earlier than you think. Oh yes, we're also talking about like 30-year loans. You plan on being someplace for 30 years? That is so foreign. That is so foreign. Like the concept, right? Being in a one place for 30 years. I was in like from the age of at least until the age 6. I think we had split time between California and another in Utah. So let's see. When did we move into our first home? I kind of think that we visited this city as a child. The green, the outlay downstairs. I remember I was so excited. I said, here's your place, and they have a little like door, like oh my goodness, secret for a little kid like me, and secret passages. It looked so. I was so excited. Yeah, I'm just excited. My mom and dad, and we were move into our own home. We stayed at I think we stayed at relatives a few times. My mom doesn't have the story of my dad. He said I missed a lot of it at school because we moved so much. I didn't attend school like from regularly until the third grade. I remember like picking a house. I obviously my parents know what they could afford, and yeah, this place it was too far away. But it probably wasn't this place. The thing is in the near trying to find a place close to other relatives. Like I said, my dad moved because he wanted to be closer to his family. Very small family. At least those who talk to each other. Hmm. Hmm. I have symptoms of diabetes. Too much too much sugar. Alcohol is sugar. It's like alcohol is sugar. I'm curious about the vodka because when doing the keto research, for whatever reason, vodka was a preferable liquor if you're going to be drinking. If you're worried about diet, probably drinking. Probably not. Making assumptions of things. Anyway, I have no diet. I just eat garbage like everything. Not everything. The stuff that I wouldn't have eaten before, I'll process foods. I get microwave foods when I want to save money. Always I get like fast food. Yeah, oftentimes the well, I mean the restaurants they let the services like fast food because they gotta keep coming in and making money. I have like stuff in my food, all food and stuff is clumped up in my mustache. The upper portion were probably in here too. That's one of the things about the Sasquatch when I used to listen to Coast to Coast AM at night. It was just one of long-standing radio broadcasts. You listen to ghost stories, other kind of stories, and other things. What was it gonna? Coast to Coast AM, Uptown St. Clair, real estate. Oh, Sasquatch. Yeah, that's how where I live because, well, it'd be hard for Sasquatch to hide without all the trees gone. For people who live close to the woods and report their Bigfoot experiences, Bigfoot sightings, there are people in the woods that be like, there's this overwhelming stench. There's just this overwhelming stench that that's they could hear it moving around and this that overwhelming stench. I think in the Germanic Viking the stuff that some young men have decided they want to revert to Viking. It's like they're famous. The Vikings are famous. There are other tribes also, like the Visigoths, but the ones that walked around the ground, not so famous. The Vikings are famous because they have the ships. There's other people further inland that didn't have those. Well, cleanliness, cleanliness. I believe that I think it could be Tacitus, a description of the Germans, like these descriptions of European wars. And he said one of the big rebellions is that the Romans would send these governors, their administrators, to help teach them Roman laws and like organize under Roman systems. And they would start the tribes would start like fighting and rebelling, and then it would get like really bad. Because the Roman generals aren't the governors. Well, so their troops would start just they would start well fighting like fierce berserkers. What Tacitus said is because in Rome, more Mediterranean, so Rome's a Mediterranean coastal city, where they were more open. They had brothels. I think Dan Carlin. Or who came from Dan Carlin? Oh, two pieces of information from different sources. So Dan Carlin was talking about when the descriptions that the Romans would write down of their encounters with people. When the Germans they brought the Germans, they were huge, smelly. Uh, I don't know if they necessarily had tattoos. There are reports of them coming out of the jungle fighting tattoos. There's a tattoo tribe, but the Germans they were just well they'd come down as dignitaries and be invited to the Roman parties and experience the life in Rome. And so they wouldn't go into the brothels. They wouldn't go into the brothels because it was a dishonor. I'm sure the Romans thought it was an honor. The Germans had a different opinion because they left their wives and kids at home, right? So they traveled. I don't know how long it takes to walk down there, but they left their wives and kids at home, and they would not go to the brothel because it was dishonor. Now, combine that with Tacitus, said, was giving a description of their culture, said that the governors who were very vivacious and like, you know, well, argument over bisexuality. He said that they would take liking the German boys. He's like they found the German boys beautiful, beautiful, and they would like start taking liberties with the natives' children. And when I mean, and so then when the Germans found out about, well, he said German men, Germans aren't even supposed. They're not even supposed to know a woman. They're not even supposed to know a woman until they're like 20. And the phrasing and from the translation might be different. I thought about that. A 20-year-old virgin, where I went to school, where people were like, you ain't yeah, you ain't yeah, like 12 years old and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, they F him and things like that. And I'm like, well, you're supposed to get married and things. I knew it. Well, so I have kind of a theory. The Germans, the Vikings, those people were known for taking like a once a year, like twice a year or something. But throw the baby out of the bath water. When their very special bath day came up, they would like have a tub. Where they got the tub from, I don't know, probably Rome or something. So they would heat it up. They fill it up with water. They didn't have a hose, uh, so what? Oh yeah, it's a very to get a hot water bath. So the man would bathe first, and then like then the sons, and then like the women, and the women would have don't throw the baby out the bath water because babies got washed like last. And by that time, the people who like all the they didn't do a new bath every time somebody wanted to take Well, my misgendering is so maybe they wouldn't know a woman. Maybe they wouldn't know a woman because you're all so filthy. And in Lord of the Rings, I think they have a line there where dwarf women have beards, so you can't tell the dwarf men and dwarf women apart. Or is a and it's obvious I can't tell them apart. Like so, the gender performance there's a streaming at ContraPoints. He was talking about biology or performance, and gender is a conformative code, isn't it? Isn't it? Doesn't it seem like gender's forced upon people? Like girls dress this way, boys dress that way, men dress this way, and then it gets confusing because translating uh, words. I think there's a big movement to interpret the Bible as well. Moms do a lot of work, like the man of the Bible, like the man of the Bible. First, he created Adam, and Adam wanted a playmate, so he took a rib and created a woman. Interesting. Stupid. All the whispers. Trying to have a new ritual orgy days and stuff. They're in the middle of freaking. They're in the middle of like this mass crisis, and what's gonna save us is popping out new unwanted progeny, as the Bhagavad Gita says. Oh my goodness, heart barbarian. This makes sense. This makes sense. I said Cole. That real person? Originally from Sierra Leone, Isaac was adopted by a clergyman and brought to England to be educated as a gentleman. The in-house lawyer for Forsyth and Co. and Joe's best friend, confidant mentor, his calm and collected demeanor allows him to navigate the complex world of the stock market. They are all poor, he answered. This is page 183 of this version. They are all poor, he answered. They gave me this. I have done everything I can. Haven't you got nothing you can sell? I have nothing. I tell you, I have nothing, he cried frantically. Can't you borrow it then? Don't your storekeeper trust you? Then as he shook his head, she went on. Listen to me. If you get me, you will be glad of it. I will save your wife and the baby for you, and it will not seem like much to you in the end. If you lose them now, how you think you feel then? And here is a lady that knows her business. I could send you to people block, in this block, and they would tell you, Madam Huck was pointing her cooking fork at Jurgis persuasively, but her words were more than he could bear. He flung his hands with a gesture of despair and turned to start away. It's no use, he exclaimed, but suddenly he heard the woman's voice behind him again. I will make it $5 for you. Was he trying to buy? There's randomly. They're poor. They're poor. They live in slum tenements. I can theorize that from from one of the first picture books, how the other half lives, and they were photographs of the inside of New York tenement buildings. Those buildings, people like let's go around New York and say, oh my goodness, look how fabulous that building is. Well, New York's the same way. It's like that's the landing spot for immigrants, where immigrants who can't speak English are like the, to go back to that in those days. They got jobs. They came over on, I don't know if they would call them visas. They came over for opportunity to work. or maybe if my mom found to find their own way. But boy, oh boy, the thing is like the dude's wife, because they can't afford to lose their thing. They don't have the welfare system where here's your house, needs money for cars and shopping. No, they didn't get welfare like that. They had to go to work. And so this guy who, like, he sprained his ankle. He's in bed for 3 weeks with a very bad ankle injury. And so it was just, he had to go back to the line. He couldn't afford to, because to have a, Elizabeth Warren is a relatively famous Harvard lawyer economist. She gave a speech about time is money, but she's equated to 1975, like the height of the largest middle class, the middle class that could have potentials of living like these people, the middle class. And she said when she was growing up, only the guy had to work. Only the guy had to work. One man could support a family of four people comfortably with a car, a yard, a house. So she remembers that being the reality, which grew out of, they already had two parents working. Elizabeth, in 1905, these people already had two people working and barely surviving. So his wife is, well, she starts, does she get knocked up? I think she might even get knocked up by the factory foreman because she can't lose that job. They'll starve, literally starve, homeless, all sorts of things. How do you feel about people who don't have jobs in our economy? There's a lot to deal with. I was reading a 1948 Meet Our American Neighbors. It was put together by the old California Department of Education, and what it is for school children here to learn that about South America and Mexico and North America. That's what it has on a thing. It's like it's all American, and then it has like Mexico. I wonder if that's where the when the deforestation, in California, I saw pictures of it, and also in Seattle. Seattle, I saw pictures of this of the video about this Seattle Underground. The shops in the center of the city. There's actually tunnels with the first floor of the old buildings, or with the old first floor. So they raised it 'cause they had such flooding problems. And well, when they're showing Seattle being built, it looks like an apocalypse. I was watching this thing. I remember Seattle from going up there as a little kid, maybe 3, 4. I suddenly woke up in this. My aunt, she had this like a redwood deck. She had a house with a deck that overlooked forests, forestry, forests, and the mountain. They had two volcanoes up there. They have two volcanoes. Mount St. Helens erupted like years, a couple years later. My brother makes a big deal of it because it was. He keeps saying it erupted on. I think it erupted on 2 days after his birthday or before or something. But yeah, he refers to himself as volcano god sometimes. It's very hard to listen to like somebody who's having such a. Then again, I've only recently become a drug addict. That's what my family says anyway. I went on healing journeys. Similar stuff, same type of stuff, but it's different. It is set or setting. It really is. Got able to afford to go where it was protected. See, the government there in Peru, it's a protected a ceremony passed down thousands of years. Thousands of years. Well, they don't have big hospitals, and their indigenous seem pretty healthy. I was going to one of the retreat centers I went to. I noticed that because I feel awkward. They're living in with nature constantly. We fly in and we get there mosquitoes and all. I was like, ah, but we're sick. We are sick. Me and my fellow retreat members. And we come back up here and try and find the source of our sickness. The Clean Foods Act, there's a big push for deregulation. Then people want cheap food. No chatter. Funds, views, average duration. Chat rate, zero. Views, zero. Average duration, null. It's, there's a, there was on, it was, I think you used to listen to it on Apple iTunes in the PRN section. Dr. Gary Knoll of New York. Oh, he's vegan. See, there's a certain thing about vegans. Well, our choice in consumption, that's where we have people on computers, in the modern stockbrokers, trying to predict future prices of things, and that's based on what what products will I buy tomorrow? What products will I buy tomorrow? I mean, I'll get something tonight. Like which soda brand? I think I'm on day 3 without an energy drink. 3 days without an energy drink. Not a Red Bull, not a Bang, not a Monster, not a Rockstar. It's funny. They had a there's a cute little show called iZombie, and it that was out what, 5 years ago or so. More than that, probably. How many seasons is it? I was able to binge watch it, I think. Yeah, did I partially binge watch it, watch premiere? I don't remember. It was very interesting. There's a zombie, like it's a secret zombie apocalypse, zombie outbreak in Seattle, and the zombies are normal. The zombies are like normal people. They just develop an appetite. They're at a party, and I think they mixed like some party pills with energy drinks, and they like freaked out. And so at the party, people start they turn mad and ravenous. So then they turn into zombies, and they have like zombie restaurants, and they are well they're zombies, but they're intelligent zombies. They have a zombie defense league. Uh, and then it's zombies, and it's cute because the guy's girlfriend she turns into a zombie, but he's still human. He's like human. His girlfriend's a zombie. She doesn't know how to tell her boyfriend that she's a zombie. And they're like they work in a her and this other guy they work in a morgue and he's a zombie. And what the guy's specialty is he takes cadavers and we eat the brain. They can experience it, right? So if you never went high glide, if you want to go high go gliding, you like they get these adventurers and then they like and then they eat and then they have experiences like that. This one boy guy he has a zombie diner and other zombies exclusively zombies come in and would you like some surfer brain today? Would you like a big mountain climbing? And then they bring out a surfer brain mountain climber day. I don't know if you know who Nostradamus is. An actual historical person from recent history, the end time predictor. Anyway, they had these predictions, and like Hitler's the anti. It was like the Hitler. They're like, okay, did it come true? Did Nostradamus' prophecies come true? What is it? Hitler is the Antichrist, right? And they say some scholars, he said Hitler. He said Hitler is the Antichrist. And so like it's just one letter off, like one letter off. So Hitler is the Antichrist, but one letter off because the people who studied it, I don't know, it's just some fun internet lore. Say Hitler, and because modern times, they're like, is it really Hillary? Is it really Hillary Clinton? Is she the Antichrist? Well, the adventurers. Who's the first, the documented official first Englishman to climb Mount Everest was like Sir Edmund Hillary. Sir Edmund Hillary. Does he have family? That's a weird thing about like, well, maybe he's rich. Maybe well, yeah, Edmund Hillary would be rich, afford to do that, or or something. What if these are zombies? What if that's why they don't care? What if that's why they don't care about the suffering of cows, the suffering of people? Like you either go get a cow. That's a really interesting thing. And some people stop by and say hi to me, offer me a ride. Where did I get this? Did they give? Yeah, they gave me this one. I think I have another pair. Like this is from steampunk days. You think there was an actual like really advanced civilization that within like some people's living minds, living times, where we did have like, oh my goodness, the height of industry. I went into my first deployment about 20 years ago was was hmm, well, I was like one I was one of the few Californian reservists that they selected. The rest of them were from Pennsylvania, in Pennsylvania area. There's a lot of older unemployed men who they used to be what Elizabeth Brown talked about the good old days. It was those guys. It was those guys. The good old days were over for them. Was it 2008? Yeah, I was talking to one of the other reserves. I did two activated deployments over to the oil zones. Oh, one was oil. The other something else. Like the first couple were the oil places. Oh yeah, it's one of the other service members was telling me about. Yeah, he said he used to have a job in the airlines. He was like maybe he used to make $20 an hour, $25 an hour, loading food onto the for the in-flight passengers for their little dinners, the lunches, just the food they used to serve on airplanes. And he said over the years, you know, and now he's got well $25 in that currency. Which you tell back in the day, you got $25 an hour. That was but he was making eight. He took the deployment so he could because he'd make more money being deployed than he was making barely surviving because he watched his income stuff go down. And at the same time, people complain about the quality of food going down as well. Oh yeah, the thermometer. The thermometer. I was having a person try to have a weather conversation with me. You think it's hot? You think 86? Going on about the weather, if it's hot or not. And I was just because at this point there's a certain class of people that I deal with that, that think seriously a thermometer to make the outside temperature uh, be comfortable, whatever their definition of comfortable is. I had to acclimate. Learning how to acclimate. My dad and his they've been through some stuff. They've been through some stuff. Air conditioning, no. It was like that was it was a luxury that spiked the power bill, and there's a problem. There were other ways of just be used to it. Maybe he's a guy who drives the windows down instead of turning on the frosty AC. And again, the vehicles we used to have. Oh, you could be like from the jungle, like a different version of it. We didn't live next to a slaughtering factory. We lived with a chemical with industrial chemical storage facility behind us. That's where my youngest brother got his job, and he could walk from our house to work. Like the other people who used to live in our houses worked there. Built closest houses. So we used to have a chemical company, and they had a spill. I don't know if it affected us much. Like they had an evacuation thing. I think that was the year I wasn't living there anymore. May have had one before. They might have had some before they didn't tell people about or people forgot about. They don't play in the creek. It's contaminated. It didn't seem too bad. Oh, Florida, man. Bath salt. Bath salts. Uh-huh. Oh, Denny. Where did I read the clergy? Where was I reading that from? Was that from the jungle? Denny? Yes, the Den from the adopted whatever country. I have a demonology and devil lore that was about 100 and something years old. I was reading, and they have a description of this Larry received from missionaries. They take a child who's not a Christian, like from a Christian family, a Christian type of people, and raise it will just learn and be okay and be good. So Denny is like, well, Denny. That was the name, and that was his name in demonology and devil lore. Like Monsignor Daniel Conway, Dean of the College of Divinity, Harvard University. So there's a letter about Denny because he's still well, I guess we refer to people like that as a Coney, like the Coney. Do you remember the Coney campaign? Oh my goodness. A lot of people are reverting to. See, we're back to the thing. We're back to the point where there are a select few people who live in these Downton Abbey places, and the other people, well, unemployed slaughterhouse workers who just can't cut the rat race anymore. And it's so I think was it Lord Goldsmith, Charlie Rose program. There was an interview, and he was talking about, well, goldsmithing. This says it was made in 1987. Ooh, reverse the eagles upside down. Eagles upside down. That's just the normal way they do it. Huh. 98, 1987, 1998. Right now, I'm just waiting for the joke. But when I started going to I'm free, I'm out of the military, I can party now. I went to a rave. I'd never gone to a rave before. One of my AOL friends that was like, we good conversations, it just wasn't into me. She's like, she had somebody who would be perfect. And so she put me on a blind date. I actually didn't meet her on AOL. I met her friend. And so I show up this girl's house, and there's nothing but trouble. Oh, she's like, I had a cell phone. I got my first cell phone, so I'm sitting there, and she's like, yeah, come, she give me directions. I was like, park over, like, okay, yeah, park on the side of the street. And so she's like, I'll be out in a minute. So I'm sitting there, and I look, and all of a sudden, this girl is crawling out of the freaking window, like she's crawling out of the bathroom window, or because there's that kind. And she was running up to the car, and she's dressed in this like, well, so she's, I'm like, what the, like, she's not coming out the front door. Her parents don't know she's going to this rave. She didn't tell me anything like that. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, okay, well, we're gonna go to a rave. And she was a pretty experienced raver apparently. And that was it. That was just a very, I was just so in love. I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my, this so too beautiful for a kid like me. And here she comes out, and so I had a great time at the rave, mixing, socializing. I'm not that person. She gave me a little helper. She gave me a little something from to, to help me like loosen up and have fun. And I can't remember all her friends. So it wore off. See, that's the thing. It wore off, and I felt like fine. And we were walking out at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's cold, and I give her my jacket. It was just nice. And then we chatted for like 2 weeks. There was another raid in 2 weeks, right? She wanted to go that raid. So I did that one to meet me there. No, I can't remember if I gave her a ride to the second raid. I feel like I must have. Well, anyway, I don't think I took anything at that one. Uh, I just don't think I did. Maybe. Remember I was talking about iZombie? So there's a thing after the raid, and this time she was different. This time her outfit was the opposite of the one she wore the first time. So she is, well, I'm very, like I said, I'm in love, but I also know how much, like, this is a mixed match. This is absolutely mixed match. Uh, so so anyway, we're going, but she's met some new people. And to my memory, what happened is she met new people, and well, they're better looking. They're all these things. I'm thinking, just, oh my goodness, I just lost this girl. Oh no, don't talk to them. Don't talk to them. Oh, and so she keeps telling me to wait. Like, we have to leave now. You have to leave because I don't want her getting these people's numbers, and like, because insecure, right? And that's one of the problems in my entire relationship. Like, I have other stuff going on. Like, there's other things going on in our lives. Mine was, you know, ah, like, it's hard to have empathy for people when they don't understand the like, I have to figure out how to get my family like homes and safe, things like that. So that was the other problem because I think she left with me. her to this place. I need to take her back because something happens. Guess who's gonna be? Guess who it is? And she won't come. She has 15 more minutes. I don't know if we went for a half hour or even 40 minutes. I just remember I got so angry. I just took off. I was like, fine, I'm not putting up with this. I've had that with other. I don't know, I did very few dates as word got around. So then I got home. I was at one point I was driving with my headlights off. I was really freaked out because I was going down a certain road, like in a residential area, and and I was like, wait, I'm not driving with my lights on, and it's like still like sunrise, isn't it? It's still dark, and I turn that thing on. Oh my goodness, my headlights. It must have been something I took that was like really paranoid. A paranoid about her going with these other people and not being minded to talk to me anymore. Anyway, I get back home and later on I sign on to AOL. And she just talkative as she was for 2 weeks. Just talk. 2 weeks talk. Uh, and then the second rave and just like very time out. Now one of the things that drives me to still try to maintain uh, is that well meet a timeline. Did I meet the girl that looked like her? How long later was that? I really need help on that block of time. I was probably in a very similar way that I am now. Like, did I dye my hair blonde? Did I bleach my hair blonde at that time, or was it dyed black? Anyway, I was so distraught, like I dishonored myself, honor, commitment, courage. I dishonored myself, my commitment. I still felt committed, and the courage was just cowardice. So I shaved my head, and I did shave my head once with a thick razor. Just changing styles be attractive, right? That's our society. That's American society. If you were coming want to be around prosperous civilization, or look at you see pretty pictures of it. Love is sick. I have a picture of my younger brother because he's been doing real work, real work. I think about the problems that I led you to give myself. My brother, he was at one point checking for like voodoo stuff under his bed. He'd be searching his apartment for voodoo. That he was felt he'd be attacked with voodoo. And then he oh hey, he's been dealing with this shit for quite a while. I only went to two raves. In my life, I've only ever been to two raves that I can remember. Oh, I went to these parties. Oh, there are more details. Oh, yes, because I like reading books. And stories, not all the stories have to be written, though we have computers that transcribe everything, a lot of things now. Potato Shadows. She is the main star of a book called Potato Shadows. Oh, we were Facebook friends, so I didn't have Facebook at the time. We found each other, still talk. But that's the thing about talking to exes. But she's not exes, former date. Uh, so I just want to make that clear. This relationship doesn't appear to be anything romantic. Jealous men. It's just the vampire hunting. Just the vampire hunters. In the book, there's some things that happen at raves, like at the parties. They have vampire battles at these places, chasing around the. I don't know. We just have good conversations. I think that it should be enjoyable to me. Like, have you driven us crazy? Have you really that like we just drove everybody crazy? Not intentionally. I recently had well, cease and termination. Like, I don't watch Ruby SpaceX anymore. I haven't even turned my television on to watch anybody for a while, actually. Like those views. I haven't texted him in a few days. I'm the one who has to initiate all the conversations with. At least I give thanks. I give thanks that I have at least somebody who's handling a lot of fellowship things. He told me he with the fellowship, love people with love addictions. They're the group for guys who have fallen in love so many times too easily, and they just, we're just a pile of rejects. Like this guy, what was the person's name again? The factory worker. Uh, anyway, he he was going for his family. He kept working in these things, his family. After this, there's this from his old life. The former owner of this book had a his highlighted thing where Mikolas is a skilled man, but for cruel accidents which have almost taken the heart out of him, he is a beef boner, and that is a dangerous trait, especially when you are on piecework and trying to earn a bride. Oh, piecework. Dude, this is a piece of spelled differently. Oh, trying to get official spellings for sounds. Beef boner. Your hands are slippery and your knife is slippery and you are toiling like mad. When somebody happens to speak to you or you strike a bone and your hand slips up on the blade and there's a fearful gash. Oh yeah, cutting themselves at work. Oh, dude, we have this thing that a lot of people campaign getting rid of OSHA. I just don't think that OSHA has enough people. Even the soft jobs, even the soft jobs are just like, no, Elizabeth. Elizabeth wants to live like this. She wants to live like this, where guys have learned over and over and over again. What is this? Oh, the orphan train. Oh, yes. Okay. That was over a year ago. I recently ran into the director of the orphan train at a cafe, and you know, some of these people, they get so they want to tell stories and name drop their friends who they work for, and I'm just like about the history of it. Like okay, well, let's talk about how important the trains that came from the east, or the trains from the cities to rural towns and pulled orphan children. Well, I don't know who's doing the babysitting. Who's doing the babysitting in the jungle? Because this guy is why they have a baby. I think they might already have kids. I suppose I read it through. Where's your kids staying with? Any other people? They both work. Hmm. Maybe the same reason I know my viewers. They usually have one or two pop in just for a little bit. So like one of the only chatters I can really remember getting on YouTube was Ruby. Well, I think I'm gonna go have a little plate and then we go work on diabetes some more tonight. One thing at a time. I haven't had energy drinks, so that's good. I've not been drinking enough pure water by my own biometrics. Like I know I know like when I have felt good is clean eating. Uh, Fortunately, I don't have the nervous eating right now. I don't have the nervous eating. And I'm always losing. I always have the whiskey. It's like you left drunk. We're in apocalypse. We're in an absolute like yeah. People have their families eating in zombie apocalypses and stuff. I understand that. It's like this whole argument over like nature, monogamy, and everything. The state of force, the monogamy. Well, there used to be cultural codes, uh, and yeah, it's this is such like a crisis thing. Well, me and my brothers, I think we're all like mad over the same women's. I think me and my brothers have all gone nuts. The one who is in a very very tragic accident. He was a good kid. He started going the bully situation in our high schools, and then well, he had the first girlfriend. I didn't have any. Even when he was like 15 years old. He was 15 years old, and he just like the women were attracted to him. Take this kid out, and then all of a sudden he's growing. Oh, your stepbrother. He's so cute. Oh my goodness. And like fat piece of face, spurt. Uh, it's, it's up in the draw, you know. So so they were just, and he had his best friend, their best friend, and they went to raves. I guess you would call them raves. Yeah, my brother was going to parties when he was like 15, 16. I don't know when he went to his first, like, he invited me a couple times to go hang out, and like, so I went to one of them. I don't know if it was a nightclub called the Amazon or the Rage. Yeah, I went in and like and I don't think there was drinking. These were like no drinking clubs, weren't they? And it was just this kind of, they were just having fun. They dressed up in their costumes like vampire. Well, I didn't really know that at the time. They would dress up in club clothes, and they were all having a good time. Then anyway, there's a girl. He gave his girlfriend a little bat. He gave her like a little plastic bat engagement ring. I remember that. And then I told my dad, and I was gone to they taken that he had to be checked into a psych ward. Apparently, he had his girl, the girl that he was engaged to. You know, they're just teenagers, goth club teenagers. He's really anyway. He he cut himself so bad he had to go to the hospital, and that might have been after there's a thing when was he 17? He's 17. Apparently, he was at a party at one of the play parties, and there was a fight, and people started running, and he ran, but he got caught by the police. And then they took him and the police checked him into a local mental health care facility where he met Sarah there. Did he meet his girlfriend there? Oh, you met a lot. Yeah, I think he met. I think because he's already dating. I don't know. I can't tell his life story. I wasn't there for most of it. I wasn't there for most of their life stories. I can't tell you. He did get DUI in my car. I remember. Oh yeah, it was 2004, huh? I was on deployment. My dad sent an email. He said, "Your brother." I left my brothers my car so they could get go to places faster. Bus riders. And I would drive them. And, when I was there, I would drive them around, and it's just so much faster. Whether it's just it is what it is. And I mean, he was sobbing. He was so terribly sorry that he totaled my car. I was like, it's okay. It could have been me. Hit and run. We used to have one of our high school classmates during 2007 storm. She post pictures of her child. Well, her child was like very bad injuries. And 2015 when I first saw it, and she's like, "Here's Kevin." I'm like, "That's Kevin." And I'm like, "Did I run over that kid? Did I cause that? Did I run him over?" Well, we're at these parties, like with the hysterias of certain things. Yeah, there's so many. And then she changed to Ryan. So I don't know. There's just some dead that don't want to be found. Oh Oh yeah, that Jeff. The, is that what it is, Jeff? So there are two things. He's been with me and things. Uh, I think remember when I backed the van. I was helping my uncle move, and it was just it was a brain bard accident. I was a stick driver. I had a car that got a stick shift, and I was driving his they're not they weren't SUVs. What do they call it? Caravan for families, right? And I put in for to me first gear drive, but and then his automatic transmission works. So I backed into his garage. I backed into his garage door, and I got out and I just had a breakdown because I couldn't afford it. Oh my goodness! It's, that's how our family is money. And Jeff was like, Jeff had to go call and let him know that I was having a breakdown. I didn't trigger you, Jeff. Was it Rocky Horror Picture Show? Well, I wasn't a drinker. There's well, period. I was straight edge, and so, oh my goodness. Well, I'm very curious. I'm very curious. I've been a passenger, and oh my goodness. I wonder if I told. I wonder if I told Jason's car. Did I total his car, or did I just I don't remember. Hey, Michelle, you might have to help me out. You're from the land of the. Oh, closing on 2 hours. What those are minutes in another language? You mean yes, yes. What do you mean it? Well, mill down in where I was learning Spanish. Mill is 1,000, not a million. Just keep adding zeros. Oh my goodness. You have to come up with. Is it Paul? There is a former assistant treasury secretary that would do radio interviews. Paul Craig. I'm getting the name. He's in a Reagan administration. He was giving a history. He was talking about the 1970s, and he said that there was like stagflation was a new term. The computer bookkeeping, the computer bookkeeping did is it allowed more money to exist on computer spreadsheets and databases than existed in our physical reality, the virtual reality versus the physical reality. They said that separation with the amount of money on there is is what, honey, what is the separation on there? Well, now we have this. Now we have this. say you die if you, well, there's a scientific theory said that this scientific knowledge, the things that said that fast at 25 miles, going to more than 25 miles per hour, you would die. And all I can think of is if that girl was like running after for my car, for the car ride home. Well, it's like Liam Neeson. You know, who is the last person your daughter was seen with? Is this guy right here. I told my Sarah how possible doctors I didn't smoke. Probably. There are forms like are you a smoker? Have you ever smoked? And eventually I got like so over it. I believe everything I see. I believe twice the stuff on TV. My medicine woman, she said I'd die if I didn't stop smoking. The medicine man said I know how to heal myself. Uh, the Don Pedro, he had to smoke more. Isn't that funny? When I was 2015, when I went to to the Amazon, try to get clarity on the family situation. First place I went was uh, was 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 uh, one of the first. Um, well, other people have to give in details. I just wanted to go back to a happy place, and it was just me and one other person. Usually, one of the healing things is there are other people there. I used to go in groups, and then we talk to each other. This time there was only one other person there, and we were there for like a week, and then decided to head back early. And she was like trying to examine what's wrong with me, and she's like, "It's not a good idea to be paranoid." And her daughter talked her into doing the ceremony with me, because I was in a bad state. I was in a bad state, and it was nice. It was very powerful. Well, she told me like because I've been smoking vapes, and I was feeling the vapes were like worse than the cigarettes. Like the chemicals. I don't know what's in these things. At least the other things, grass. So I'm soaking vapes, and I'm not gonna smoke vapes anymore. So we got they have these like hand rolled ones down there. So I was I was I didn't actually chain smoking them. I did start chain smoking later. But she was like, "Yeah, you'll probably if you don't stop smoking cigarettes." She could see because she said she has X-ray vision, and I believe them. But she could see that I had or feel. Now my other friend was with John of God in Brazil. So how that all works together, the stories of John of God. So mine is like, okay, and then we separated. And I went with the original, my friend, the, the, the person who started this retreat groups. He had one, he got me a spot on it. Like, uh, and so I went with the people, like, with the guy who was the original guide with me. And, and how many others? I think 10 people. It was 10. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't even know. Uh, so we had, so we went on a 2 week, we went on like a 10-day, 2 week thing or something. Was it 2 weeks? Feeling really good after that. And there are other people who was like, I've been doing this a while, right? And they're like, he was doing helping them, and he wasn't really addressing me. Like, you know, he's like, wait, what about Kevin? Because Kevin knows how to heal himself. Been doing it for like we've been studying like stuff for a while. And when it's a physical thing and health and stuff like that, yeah, I this is family like disaster. And this is brother. See, the guy who was how can I put it, that just couldn't take life anymore. He got a party and get in that scene when he was really young. Both of these guys did. The thing that bonds me and the other one is we don't have girlfriends. Maintaining having a girlfriend, it was, oh, we have crossed the 2 hour mark. Okay. So there was like hysteria from the poor isolated woman with people wanting to harm her and stuff. Uh, yeah, I stopped technically stalking you because you didn't go to the rave with me. It's like I'm not to stalk anybody. I'm just trying to. Well, you can't take care of your daughter. You can't take care of your kids when you're in that severe of an accident. So been it's been coming up on a decade of being bedridden.